G'day everyone and welcome to The Local. It's an unbelievable podcast that is catching everyone in the world of football by storm at the moment. It's fantastic. We've got a big weekend of footy coming up. Easter weekend, Good Friday footy is across the nation. We're trying to go as far and as wide as we can here on The Local and reach as many people as we can. It's good. It's going well so far, but tell your friends and tell them more. It's all powered, of course, by Premier Data, and they are absolutely itching, all the team at Premier Data, to get rolling for the games that will be played across the country from this weekend onwards. There's a bit to get through. Speaking of the country, as I mentioned, we're trying to go as far and wide as possible on this podcast and talk to the people that are making news, making it all happen in the world of local footy. And today, we head down south to Tassie because there's a bit going on.
That one go for a little while, the umpire. Ball would come out. So, all eyes again on Ablett here at the stoppage. He's got plenty of attention. Came over the football. That goes off the ground. Gary Ablett Jr. How about that from the little master? Off the deck and through the middle. Swing Wiley just sticks a leg out. Worked it cleverly to Barwick. Barwick sets it high. Where's Ablett? He'll be at the full of this one. Gary Ablett gathers. Ablett! He has his second.
Fair to say there's been a bit happening in the world of football down in Tasmania, and on the weekend it got even bigger. One of the all-time greats of the Australian Football League was down there in the black and white stripes of the Glenorchy District Football Club. Must have been good fun to have Gary Ablett Jr. wearing the colours, and Peter Barwick is the president of Glenorchy District. He joins us on The Local. Pete, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for having it.
Now, it must have been some sort of weekend having one of the all-time greats down there in the colours. Now, there's been a few great players to wear the colours through the journey of the footy club. We'll talk about that. But Gary Ablett Jr. is an all-timer. How did you get him in the colours?
Well, yeah, a bit of a story. Had a connection with Rabbit or Chris Ryan from up in the Gold Coast Suns days. So Chris was a AFL development officer up there and got to meet up with Gaz and formed a bit of a relationship, and conversation started, and one thing led to another, and over various conversations and various goes, we finally got him to commit and put on the black and white and come on down.
So I imagine when you're sort of tabling this at committee level or however you play it there at Glenorchy, that you throw the lure out, we might be a chance to get Gary Ablett Jr. What's the immediate reaction when you ask that, or you make that statement?
Yeah, look, it was quite an interesting meeting when we had our board meeting, and I said, look, have a chance to get Gaz to come down and play a one-off game for us, and there was a bit of, was I taking the piss, or how much is this going to cost, or what's all this about, sort of thing. So yeah, it took a bit of convincing to make everyone believe it was legit, and that there was there wasn't as a bigger financial impost as what they might have first thought, and that there was some real opportunity. So, yeah, after a few conversations, it came to fruition.
So, and it's just not about Gaz just pulling on the boots and trying to dominate as he probably did, which I want to get to. But there's like a package. Like he and Nathan was down there to run junior clinic. He did a sportsman's night the night after the game as well. So it's not just the getting out there and having a kick around. There's a bit more to it.
Yeah, look, and that was one of the things that was really impressive about Gaz, was that it wasn't just what he could get out of it. It was more what he could give. And on the Friday night, actually on the Thursday night preceding, because he landed on the Thursday, but he wasn't due at the footy club or wasn't around, there was a real buzz around the footy club just on the Thursday night. There was people that we hadn't seen for a while, and there was just excitement building. And then on the Friday night, that was one of the most pleasing things I've seen since I've been back involved at the footy club, was the amount of juniors running round, the amount of just genuine excitement and love for the game that was there from everyone. It's exactly what footy should be. You couldn't define it any more clearly than that moment that was witnessed out at KG5 on Friday night with Gaz and Nathan there taking a junior clinic. For me, football's in good shape, and the future of footy at Glenorchy and the future of footy at Tassie is in really good shape when you see that sort of reaction.
Because it hasn't always been, and recently there's been some challenges for your footy club, hasn't there, to be successful and get back on your feet again. So it's been a bit of a rocky road the last little while as well.
Yeah, it was an incredibly rocky road. You might just say we were we were on the rocks. We were just about shipwrecked. We went from 105 years of tradition, very strong through the 50s, a strong period through late 70s, early 80s, strengthened again through the early 2000s, and then we premiership, our last one in 2016, to fielding a senior side only, carrying an incredible amount of club debt and junior programs that were missing sides in every second age group. That there was real talk that recess was on the cards, and we all know that happens after that with some great clubs. They just never come back, and particularly with our debt profile that we had, how do you alleviate that when you don't have a product to sell? Because ultimately, we're a footy club, and footy is our product, and without any product to sell, businesses don't really survive. So it was really serious.
So how'd you do it? Because this is a real scenario for a lot of clubs around the nation, and we're trying to get to as many of those people as possible through the local podcast here. So because we wanted this to be a real big community. So how did you get back on your feet financially and alleviate that debt you talked about? Because as you say, it's not easy at local level, let alone a competition like yours, which is better than local footy. It's a state-based sort of competition. How did you do it?
Yeah, well, a lot of hard work, a lot of good people. And what we focused on was our brand, our connection to the community, and our product. So we had to improve our brand, because people, smart people that don't come to a brand that's not appealing. Our product is football, so we had to improve our product, and that's not easy, because to improve your product, you've got to win some games. And we went for 2.5 years without winning a game of football.
Yeah, wow.
So it's really hard to attract the calibre of people you need to win games of footy to a product like that. So we started at junior level, and we employed some really good ex-footballers from the club that had kids around that age, and got them involved in our junior program, made that a really welcoming, inclusive environment, and started to get that reputation ripple out there that's what we were doing. We worked really hard on our senior program around building the culture. So whilst we didn't have talent there, we had loyal and committed people. You have to be to stay at a club, that's suffering that amount. So we worked on that culture, and we worked on getting that culture out there of loyalty, of commitment, of resilience, of inclusion, and of support for no matter how you're performing or what the challenges are in front of you. As a club, we have your back, and we're all in this together, and we're living this journey, and we're creating this story together. So we worked on the culture, and that started to ripple out, and a few people that had disappeared because of our brand and our product started to spark their eyes and interest up again. So we managed to get one or two of those to come back on board, and from there we steadily built it up, and then got to a point where we won a game of footy. We were fielding more sides in our junior program. In fact, last year our Auskick program had the highest growth within the state of over 125%. And that was thanks to some of the work AFL Tatters had done, but also some of the work that and our Auskick coordinator won Auskick Volunteer of the Year as well. And just really committed, great human. And they're the sort of things that connect people back to the football club and build a brand and build a product that people enjoy going to and seeing. So that was sort of the things we focused on it. And we didn't really focus too much on debt reduction at that point. We focused on debt stabilisation. So we didn't look to go further into debt, but we didn't really focus too much on removing that debt, because our product and our brand is what generates revenue. So without that, we don't have a product and we don't have revenue to generate. So our debt reduction would always be a difficult challenge. So we worked on building our product, and then when we had a product to sell and a product that people believed in and people engaged in, then we worked on generating the funds to commence our debt reduction strategy, which we've moved quite some way along now. So yeah,
good on
really
you.
interesting process. Great lot of work by a great lot of people.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's the heartbeat of all local sporting clubs and certainly local footy clubs is the volunteers who put their time and effort and money into these places to keep them going. And you've done a great job to get it to that point. And then I imagine a fairly big lure for revenue would be a guy like Gary Ablett Jr. How did it go on the weekend from a financial perspective? Did we cover the bills?
Yeah, we covered the bills. Yeah, we covered the bills. We set ourselves a few goals, and the weather was kind to us, so we that was one of our uncontrollables. But most of the other things we looked to control, and as you mentioned, it was pulled off by a fantastic group of volunteers. We have a couple of paid employees as well that were also terrific and certainly went over and above, and our bar staff and everyone involved with the footy club. We had parents come down on the Sunday because we had another big day there with the police and prison guards charity match to support Legacy and to support Speak Up and Stay Chatty. So it was a really good community event that we're really proud to host as well. So some of the parents of the juniors come down. They were walking around picking up rubbish from the day before, filling the bins and just making it really presentable. And to me, again, that was just testament to having good people. It builds a good brand and a good product, and it was fantastic. And on the day itself, with Gaz there at the quarter time breaks and the half time breaks, the oval was full of just young kids running around kicking the footy, and you got to think you're on the right track when you see that.
How did Gaz go? Tell me, how did the little champ go?
Yeah, look, he did say to me a couple of times he wished he had Gaz's 23-year-old legs, not Gaz's 41-year-old legs. So he definitely felt it, and but there's still that aura about him. He got a few touches, kicked a ripper off the ground, and then we were mounting a bit of a mini comeback at the start of the last quarter, and he got over the back and just read the drop zone better than anyone else. He always talks about his footy IQ, and his footy IQ come to the fore. Kicked another snag, and we're away. But unfortunately, we just couldn't get the chocolates in the end. But a ripper person, and our group just benefits so much from his experience. And he had another couple of shots, so he ended up with 2-2 for the day, and he kicks 4, and everyone thinks the Masters back. But his influence was still huge.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask you about the teammates, the boys that were playing with him. I mean, they would have been bouncing off the walls when they heard the news that Gary Ablett Jr. was going to play with them, surely.
Yeah, there was a bit of a push for selection for that week, and there were some pretty disappointed boys that missed out, unfortunately. But that's footy. But he was selfless in giving his time to our senior players and to our junior members and to the public as well. The poor guy was needing to use the bathroom after the game and had to stand in the doorway to the bathroom for about 15 minutes while he was mugged by kids and parents and supporters wanting photos and all that. But he didn't complain. He was selfless, and to get his brother Nathan down as well, who put his hand up. We didn't expect anything. He put his hand up, said, "No, look, I want to be involved and do the water running." And one of our volunteers was,
cool.
She's wrapped now that Nathan Ablett's now on her Play HQ profile to get him registered as a volunteer. So we made someone else's day. I'm sure she'll speak about that for many a year to come.
Oh, brilliant. What a great start to the year for the footy club. It's obviously the preparation for a new season is always challenging for every club, but to be able to land someone like Gaz to come in and set things up, that's a great feather in your cap. So well done. Have you had a chance to just sit back and reflect and absorb what happened? I mean, I think you're a best and fairest winner at the footy club, if I'm not mistaken, so you've got a long history with this place. To see what that was like on the weekend, have you reflected?
I did for about... an hour and a half, I reckon, Monday morning when my real job was all set up and going all right, and the footy club business was was quiet for that moment. So I had about an hour and a half of reflection on the Monday morning, and then some work issues started to come in, and the footy club stuff started again. But yeah, look, it was it's just fantastic. And like I said, for me, the greatest moment was seeing those kids on the Friday night and on the Saturday. It was also good that we realised some of our financial goals out of it as well, but also a chance to meet a really, humble and genuine chairman like Gaz was fantastic. You expect someone that has achieved what he has achieved to be, more aware of that. But he was just a genuine and nice bloke, and he just gave so much. And we shared some great conversation. It was certainly something that I'll treasure and I'll benefit and from some of his wisdom as well.
He's a champion bloke on and off the field, Gaz. You got a ripper there, so well done. And great that he gave himself to the footy club for that weekend like he did. I'm interested in your relationship with the footy club, what it means to you. And I love talking to people in local footy about what their clubs mean to them. You've obviously got a great playing history. Your daughter, Bree, she's got a playing history as well. You're the first, I think, father-daughter life members of Glenorchy District, so it's a nice little feather in your cap. What does that footy club mean to you? What's it meant to you all the way through?
Look, I probably didn't realise what it means to me until I understood the importance of community and the importance of people within the community having a purpose and having a goal and having a dream to fulfil, life's journey. And once I started to realise just how important the footy club is to so many over such a long period of time, it became far more important to me to make sure that, as an interim custodian of that history and tradition, that I do my very best to leave it in a better place than when I found it. So it's important to me because it's important to so many.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good response, I reckon, until you work out the connection and the importance for other people that you understand what it means to you. So that's great. I mean, and you're a famous footy club too. Like Glenorchy District, I'm very lucky to be in the company of the great Peter Hudson every now and then through a Hawthorn Alliance, and he talks so fondly about his days at Glenorchy. And it's not just him. Rodney Eade, I know, is there. I'm going through a list before. Aaron Joseph, Simon Wiggins, Brodie Holland, Ben Beams, Darren Creswell, Adrian Fletcher, Andy Lovell. And then you've got Ackermanis has played, Darren Kaplan, Robert Gronewagen, the great captain Gronewagen has played there, Billy Pickens.
Yes,
so it's a famous footy club.
Yeah, look, my first year of senior footy was under Big Wagon. And
was it?
He took us to a grand final in 1988. And if you ever get a chance to look on YouTube, Glenorchy versus Devonport 1988 grand final, the first before the ball bounced, she was on. It's been inducted into the Tasmania Football Hall of Fame. There's a famous grand final for the biff that went on. Just an incredible game, a ripper broke wagon, and again, Peter Hudson's such a humble and a great person and champion footballer. When I first took on the role as president, got a voicemail on my phone because I missed the phone call or whatever, and it said, "Oh, look, it's Peter Hudson here. I just wanted to, thank you for taking on the footy club role and let you know that I'm always here if you need anything or whatever." And I had to listen to it 2 or 3 times to make sure it wasn't someone taking the piss before I actually called him back, because just out of the blue for someone of that ilk to give you a call that just highlights how special it is for so many people.
Yeah, well. He's a great man, Peter. I talk about Gary Ablett being a champion. He's one of the most beautiful men on the planet, Peter Hudson. So he'll be sincere and genuine when he gives you a call. Although I think you buried the lead here. You said you missed the call. I've got a theory you screened his call because you didn't know the number. Did you screen the great Peter Hudson's call?
There's no way I'd ever admit to that.
That's 100% what you did.
His number is saved on my contacts list now, but that's for sure.
Right, I won't let Hutto know that you screened his call. I won't do it. I won't tell him.
No, please don't do that.
When I see him next. Hey, let's broaden the conversation a bit about Tassie footy. Obviously, there's heaps happening in Tassie footy with the licence being granted to the Devils to come in 2028. We've had the VFL kick off this season, and they won 2 from 2. What's that done to footy throughout Tasmania?
Yeah, well look, footy in Tassie is back, is alive, it's strong. We believe again. Went through many years, and look, even until we got the yes vote across the line on the stadium, people, the reality of it hadn't set in. It's been a dream of some for so long that it's a pinch yourself moment. You hear it. You hear the announcement. You get the green light for the stadium, which was the condition of the licence, and then you go, well, hang on a minute. Does that actually mean that in a couple of years' time, Tasmania will have its own AFL side and AFLW side? Is that real? So I think it's taken a little bit to settle in, actually. But the work rate of those involved, we've been fortunate to get a great CEO in Brendan Gale. Kath McCare is in there has been a fantastic. Again, connected to our footy club. Her dad, Maurice McCann, played in a couple of premierships, and it was a great footballer at our club as well. So I've been fortunate to have that connection and get a bit of insight from Kath in that relationship. But yeah, and to see the guys and girls out there in the VFL already, and the training and the work and the pride that they've already established on pulling on the map is just incredible to witness. I get along to training occasionally to see how the players are going, and they're just really, it's just exciting. Someone told me that sometimes you can feel energy, and you can certainly feel some positive energy when you get amongst that group. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. So do you see it being a successful introduction to the competition, that there won't be a flat spot, they'll come in fully raring to go, the Tassie team?
Oh, I've been around footy enough to be a bit real about it. And I've been fortunate enough to see on the inside of a couple of AFL clubs and AFLW through the Bulldogs and the daughter and stuff like that, and understand some of her challenges and experiences. And we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a real tough road ahead of us. So I know, look, there's excitement. I know there's energy. I know we've had some fantastic players in the past. The likes of Matty Richardson and Rewald and Royce Hart going back, and all. There's just a myriad of them, and there's great Baldock and Stewart and all of those players. But AFL is ruthless. It's a big business, and it's really, really tough. So we cannot be under any illusions that we're going to go in there. It's going to be a free ride. We're going to have to earn every spot that we get, and we have to be realistic that we're coming from a long way behind. You're going up against even some of the foundation clubs that like your Carltons and Essens and that perhaps are struggling and going through their own challenges at the moment. They've got 120, 130 years of history and tradition and experience, and a wealth of credit in the bank. We're a long way behind where they are.
Yeah, it's going to take some time, but hopefully all guns blazing at the start, just to make a bit of an entrance into the AFL when it comes around. You mentioned a couple of times women's footy, and I'm glad you brought that up, because local women's footy and junior girls footy, is that exploding as well with the advent of AFLW? And just as an aside, are you Brooks' dad, Brooks Barwick from the Dogs?
Yes, I am. Yes.
I've just worked out. I've just put that link together. Right, so how's that all? I'll get to Brooke in a second, but girls and women's footy on the back of the AFLW, is that really exploding? Yeah,
it's exploding at a real junior level. We still, and again being real about it, at the senior level, perhaps a few years ago, we expected more numbers coming through than what actually happened in reality, and sort of that 16 to 18-year-old drop off. We're still, recovering from that. So we're still, I believe, low on numbers through our senior ranks at the moment, but we have a great cohort of younger players coming through, sort of from our 14s to 16s age group, and the improvement in the skill and the craft and the knowledge and the footy IQ of those girls is incredible. I've always said, look, girls actually pick the game up quicker than men. If you had the same two people, a male and female, go through the journey, have exactly the same opportunity, exactly the same experience. Females pick it up far better than we do. But it's just, again, they were starting from a fair bit further back. So it's come a long way, and certainly through the youth area, it's come along really strong. But again, we're lacking on numbers at senior level.
Yeah. And how's Brooke going?
Going really well. She's really excited to head back over. We've been fortunate enough to have her over for a bit of an extended time this off season. She's again, she understands the work rate now. She understands the conditioning that you have to get in, and she understands how brutal it is. So she's worked really hard, and she's knocked some considerable time off her 2Ks, and she's improved her PBs in the gym and stuff like that. So she's really excited to get back over and get into it, and make as big an impact as she can this year. So looking forward to sneaking over and watch her in a game or two as well. So.
Awesome. And all our fans can follow Brooke Barwick at the Dogs in the AFLW when the season starts as well, as part of the local family here. And before I let you go, who are we playing this week? Who we got, the Magpies?
The Magpies have got Brighton this week out at Brighton on Good Friday. So Brighton, they come into the competition last year, performed really well really competitive again in their first year. Recruited one or two in their second year, so there'll be a real danger game out there on Good Friday. So the boys will really have to be on their mettle to do that. So it should be a couple of great games of footy out there, and then enjoy the long weekend. So we're looking forward to it. And then the week after that, traditional rivals, Clarence back at KG5. So good competition in our Premier League at the moment.
You didn't lock Gaz in a cupboard just to make sure he gets a second game in this week, did you?
Look, he did mention a few times that he had signed up for one and potentially two more games, and that's it. But off the back of that, he mentioned quite a number of times the Glenorchy Footy Club, and he mentioned that his dad always talks about making a comeback and playing a game somewhere or whatever, and he said so. Well, you might see me and him back at Glenorchy next year. And he said it on a couple of occasions. Having Nathan Jr and Senior all take to the field together, it'd be a one-off experience. But I'm not sure that. Well, anyway, who knows?
I'd follow it up if I was you. I'd follow it up, because you might not ever be able to sell more cans in the history of the footy club than that day if you get all three Ablets playing in the colours. We're fortunate enough we don't have a ground capacity set at the club and the ground at the moment. But I'm tipping we announce them three lining up together. Lots of people will be certainly tell us what's the capacity, because it's going to be sold out. Oh, they'd just be hanging out of the trees and jumping on each other's shoulders to watch that happen. That'd be amazing. But well done on getting Gaz on the weekend, but also just what you've been able to do, you and the committee for the footy club, getting it back on track after a rocky road, Pete. Great to share your story with us and all of our fans here on the local. We really appreciate it. We'll be watching your progress through the year as well, in the Southern Footy League, Premier League as well with Glenorchy. We appreciate your time, and go get them.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Really appreciate the opportunity to have a chat, and thanks for reaching out and supporting local footy and supporting clubs that have gone through the journey. So really, really appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Good on you, Pete. Pete Barwick with us, the president of Glenorchy District Footy Club down there in Tassie. What a weekend it was. So what a challenge it's been to get them back on track, but they are back in a big way, and we'll be following them in 2026.